Have you ever wondered how a crisis that's not in your backyard can impact the world at large? Today, we delve into the Rohingya Crisis, a humanitarian crisis that has been unfolding since 2017. The Rohingya Muslims, a minority group indigenous to Myanmar, are at the heart of this devastating situation. They have been systematically persecuted, leading to their displacement and the death of thousands. The Myanmar government and military play a significant role in this crisis. These institutions have been accused of ethnic cleansing and other serious human rights abuses against the Rohingya, including mass killings, sexual violence, and widespread arson, driving them from their homes and into neighboring countries. The scale and severity of the atrocities have led the United Nations to describe the situation as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Despite this, the crisis continues to unfold, largely unseen and unaddressed by the international community. This crisis, often termed as the unseen genocide, has been a blemish on the world's consciousness. Let's walk through the timeline of this crisis to understand the depth of the atrocities committed. Our journey begins in August 2017, when a brutal crackdown by Myanmar's military sparked the onset of what would soon become a humanitarian catastrophe. This was triggered by an armed attack on Myanmar's security forces by a group of Rohingya insurgents, which led to a heavy-handed response by the military, characterized by widespread violence and human rights abuses. The violence was unimaginable, forcing thousands of Rohingya to flee their homes overnight. By the end of 2017, an estimated 700,000 Rohingya had crossed the border into Bangladesh, creating one of the world's largest refugee settlements in Cox's Bazar. They arrived bearing tales of horror, villages torched, loved ones lost, and a life left behind. The international community was slow to respond. Despite mounting evidence of genocide, the world's governments were hesitant to condemn Myanmar's actions outright. The United Nations described the situation as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing, yet the wheels of international justice were slow to turn. By 2018, the crisis had evolved into a stalemate. The Rohingya continued to live in squalid conditions with limited access to basic services like healthcare and education. The threat of monsoon rains loomed large over the makeshift camps, exacerbating an already dire situation. Fast forward to the present day, the plight of the Rohingya remains largely the same. Despite promises of repatriation and international pressure, the situation on the ground has seen little improvement. The Rohingya are still largely seen as illegal immigrants in Myanmar, and their return home remains a distant dream. This brings us to the harsh reality: the crisis is far from over. Despite fading from the global headlines, the Rohingya continue to live in fear, their futures uncertain. Their situation is a stark reminder of the world's collective failure to protect the most vulnerable among us. As we speak, the crisis continues to unfold, leaving the Rohingya community in a state of perpetual fear and uncertainty. Now that we've understood the crisis, it's time to ask ourselves, what can we do to help? The answer lies in our willingness to make a difference. You can play a crucial part in alleviating the suffering of the Rohingya community. Firstly, raising awareness is key. Use your platforms, whether they're social media, blogs, or community forums, to share the realities of the Rohingya crisis. By spreading the word, you're contributing to a global understanding of the issue, which is the first step towards action. Secondly, consider supporting organizations working tirelessly to mitigate the crisis. UNICEF, for instance, is actively involved in providing support and protection to the Rohingya refugees. They offer nutrition, healthcare, safe water, and education. Your donations can go a long way in aiding these essential services. Lastly, lobby your governments to take action. Write to your political representatives, urging them to use their influence to bring about change. International pressure can be instrumental in ending the persecution of the Rohingya community. Remember, change begins with awareness. Your voice can help end the suffering of the Rohingya community. Stand up for human rights today.